Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Digidio, there you go. It just says I have 0 viewers, so I don't know what's going on. Good morning, Sarah. How are you doing? I'm good. How about you? I'm doing good. Wednesday, halfway down with the week. It's supposed to be nicer today and tomorrow, which is good after all the rain we've been getting. I got a haircut. I don't know if you can see it. Finally got a haircut. Feels amazing. Yeah, it's all right. Doing all right. All right. If anyone else is here, let me know. Good morning, Jaden. I know you are. It's really weird because it's not telling me that anyone's here. So usually I can have like pretty good sense of of the people that are in here, at least how many I got. But today it just says I have 0 viewers. But obviously that's not true because you two are here. So how are you doing, Jaden? You having a good day so far? Yeah, no worries, Sarah. I understand. You can always rewatch this, but your priority is that AP exam, so I get it. Jaden, pretty good. Good. Good to hear. All right. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get anyone else. So I guess I got you two. That's fine. I want to address this is something I would like to talk to everyone about. I'll announce it in Google Classrooms. Hopefully, more people will see it. And then I don't know how many people really watch. At least from I don't know how many people from Algebra watch these videos when I post them to YouTube. So maybe some people will see it there. But if you're on YouTube, and then obviously you two that are in the chat, one thing I want to talk about before we get started is tomorrow I'm going to post a year-end review. All it is going to be a form that's just asking you to basically evaluate the class and evaluate myself. It's just something that I like to do because obviously being new to teaching, kind of obviously I had college experience and I did student teaching and I've had experience in that realm, but I've never taught Algebra 2 before. I never taught calculus before, so this is my first year doing all this, and I really want your guys' feedback. stuff that you liked, stuff that you didn't like, stuff to improve on, to change, and then just the overall, just I guess what you took away from the class. So it'll be quick survey. Probably take you, I mean, depending on how much time you put into it, 5-10 minutes. So if you two could do that, and then anyone else who's watched this video, I'll post to Google Classroom tomorrow, but just take some time to do that. I really appreciate it. I'll look through them and take the feedback to heart, and hopefully learn from it and improve for next year. All right, so that's the first thing I wanted to say, so keep an eye out for that. In terms of the Alex assignment, was there anything you two wanted to talk about on that? So I know it's due Friday, but if there's anything from Alex you'd like to talk about, I'd like to start with that. So let me change over to my camera here. Thank you, Jane. Appreciate it. I can't access it because I have a knowledge check. Can you skip the knowledge check, Sarah? Or just like go through and fill out just like random answers for it, just to get through it. And then Jane, you said you haven't done. Okay. All right. So that means no then. Probably no questions. I'll try to get on that as soon as possible. Mostly not because, like, as you know, like it's due Friday, so I know Sarah, you sometimes do it like an hour before. I get it. I mean, I'm really not. I don't recommend it, but that's okay. It just the only reason why I like people to do it ahead of time is because then I can help you. So if you need help. But yeah, Sarah, I would definitely get through that then. Just click random answers or click I don't know, get through the knowledge check, and then that way, if you have any questions on it while you're doing it, you can ask me before like 11 o'clock on Friday. Damon, my bad, I'm late. Hey, no problem, Damon. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Sarah, start that knowledge check and then X out. Okay, so you can do that too. I don't look at the knowledge checks or anything, so. Or you could do the knowledge check just for fun, Sarah, and try to challenge yourself. See how you're doing. That's an idea. Okay. So Damon, let me actually tell you, just because you just popped in. We talked about tomorrow, if you can see in my calendar, I'm going to post a year-end review in Google Classroom. If you don't mind tomorrow logging in, it doesn't be tomorrow, just at some point, Damon, can you log into Google Classroom and fill out the survey? It'll take like 5-10 minutes. It's just asking you how you thought the year went, how you think of me as a teacher, anything you think I can improve on, or stuff that you like that I did in the class, whatever it may be. It's anonymous, so if you guys want to fill it out, you can put your name if you'd like, but if not, it doesn't matter. It's anonymous. Not going to get upset. Not going to be offended. Just be honest. Don't mess around. Just take it seriously. I want to use it to improve what I'm doing. So the most important feedback I can get is from you guys because you're my students. That's all I care about at the end of the day is how much you guys are enjoying it and how well it's working for you. That's all that matters. So it's really important to me that I get some feedback from you. All right. Back to today's lesson. So, if you guys remember, we're working on 12.1 trig functions. All right, trigonometric functions. We talked about yesterday, or Monday, I asked you guys, you three especially, because I think you were the three on Monday. I asked you three what you think of when you think of trigonometry. What does that bring to mind? And a lot of things you were saying were angles, side lengths, sine, cosine, tangent, SOHCAHTOA, stuff like that, which is kind of basic of trigonometry. And then another one was triangles, and that's huge, right? Trigonometry, tri, it has tri in it, just like triangle. So, yeah, triangles, right angle triangles to be specific, are super, super important in this unit. So we talked about those, and then we talked about this SOHCAHTOA. And this was a review. You guys have done this before. So before I go any further, I do want you guys to do, as like a little warm-up, I want you to do example 2, guided practice. So on page 791, you can see on my screen, this was example 2. This gives you the outline of what you're supposed to be doing for that. We did this on, we did an example like this on Monday, so you can look back at your notes. And then I want you guys to do this problem here. If tangent of b equals 3/7, find exact values of the remaining trig functions. So that's your little warm-up. So get started. If you guys get stuck, just tell me in the chat that you're stuck and you can't go forward. If you get through the entire question, tell me that you got through the entire question. And then once I get some feedback from you three, I will go over it. So again, this is just a warm-up kind of review. Just want to make sure we're doing all right with this. And this is going to help you with your Alex assignment too. So all right, about a minute left, guys. Maybe 2. Jane, you said you're stuck? Okay. Thank you for the feedback. Jaden, what step did you get stuck on? I'm lost as well. Okay, thank you, Damon, for the feedback. Answer is done. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. All right, so example 2. We're given this idea that tangent of B is equals 3/7. So first of all, one thing I want to talk about, guys, whenever it says tangent of B in trigonometry, whatever that is in the inside, that's what we call a radian measure. It also might be a degree measure. Okay, it depends on what you're in. In our case, it's going to be degrees. So radians and degrees, I don't know how much you guys have talked about this or you addressed it in geometry, or even if you have it all, I'm actually not really sure. The idea is a radian is just another way to represent a degree measurement. They're interchangeable. Radians are just specific units. Regardless, though, ignore that. What I'm focused on is the B. This B is always a degree measurement. So anything attached to your trig function, whether it's tangent, cosine, sine, cosecant, all the other ones, it would always be an angle. All right, so just to clarify that, we want to find the remaining trig functions. Well, step 1, if you guys remember from your notes, if you look back in your notes, step 1 was just draw a picture. I'm doing it red here. The orientation of the triangle does not matter. I always like to draw it like this, only because it's just easiest to draw. B doesn't actually matter where you put it. Okay, it can't be the right angle. We know that. It's not going to be the right angle. But it could be either this one up here or this one down here. So I'm just going to make this my B. That part doesn't matter, which one you choose to make your angle B. What does matter is how you label the side lengths. So guys, remember, tangent of B was equal to 3/7. If you look back at your notes, we saw that tangent of B is equal to opposite over adjacent. Remember SOHCAHTOA, TOA, T-O-A. Opposite, tangent is opposite over adjacent. Which means that if tangent of B is equal to, what do we say? 3/7, the opposite side length is 3. So opposite of B, go diagonal, this is 3. Adjacent, which is the angle next, or the side length next to the angle, is 7. So we label that 7. I'm just going to label that missing hypotenuse A. We just don't know what it is. We have to find it. So we're just going to call it A. All right, so that's step 1. Just to draw a picture and label the picture. Step 1. Step 2 is we want to solve for A. All right, now, this might have been a part where one of you guys got stuck. So pay close attention, gentlemen. If we have a triangle and we have 2 side lengths, we can always get the third side length. Always. 100% of the time, no matter what. We can always get the third side length. If we're given 2 side lengths, doesn't matter where they are on the right triangle, we can always get the third. And to do that, we use the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In other words, the 2 side lengths squared added together will equal the hypotenuse squared. Hypotenuse is always your biggest side length. So, in my case, I'm going to have 3 squared plus 7 squared is equal to a squared. Nine plus 49 is 58 equals a squared, and the square root of 58 equals a. All right, so I have a couple pieces I can fill in then. I can now know the hypotenuse length is square root of 58. And that's all I need, actually. Now I can write my answer. So I already know what tangent is. They gave us that in the question. I need to know what sine of b is, what cosine of b is, what secant of b is, what cosecant of b is, and what cotangent of B is. Wow, I just realized how horribly I wrote those. I'm writing on an angle, all right? My hand's over here, my face is that way. It's hard to keep everything in line. All right, regardless though. How did you get 58? Never mind. Okay. All right, so sine. This again, guys, go back to your notes. We copied these SOHCAHTOA. Super, super important whenever we use trig. If you notice, tangent of B was opposite over adjacent because of TOA. T-O-A, opposite over adjacent. Sine is SOH, S-O-H. So it's opposite over hypotenuse, O over H. So opposite of B is 3, so it's going to be 3. The hypotenuse we just found was the square root of 58. Cosine, so ca, C-A-H. So A divided by H. Adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So our adjacent side length is 7 divided by square root of 58. Secant is 1 over cosine. So we just take cosine and we flip it. So we have the square root of 58 divided by 7 is secant. Cosecant is 1 over sine, so we flip sine. So we have the square root of 58 divided by 3. And cotangent is 1 over tangent. It's the reciprocal of tangent. So the reciprocal of tangent is going to be 7/3. So I know these three were new to you guys. There's not, the biggest thing to remember is that they're all reciprocal. So we need the first, I'm going to call them like the original three. The original three, the three that we're used to, that we first got exposed to. Sine, cosine, and tangent. Once we can get the original three, we can get the other ones. We can get their reciprocals. We just flip the fractions. So focus more on getting the first three, and then the rest will come. You just have to remember that secant is 1 over cosine. It's a reciprocal of cosine. All right, so Damon and Jaden, where did you guys go wrong? What step was confusing to you? Second part of step 2. Okay, so solving for A. Probably the square root theorem, I'm guessing. Damon, how about you? Excuse me. Whew. Allergies are kicking in today, people. Oh, the stuff. Oh, that's step 3. So step 3 was where. Okay, so that's just SOHCAHTOA. So yeah, it takes a little bit of memorization. Okay. I don't know where Damon went. So, guys, turn to page 792. No problem, Damon. I just want to know, what step did you get confused on? Let me show you my screen here. I got lost on step 2. Okay, cool. So I wanted to make sure you guys got step 1. I think that's really important to start. So step 2 we'll get more practice with in 3. Okay, so 792, guys. This page you can see on my screen. Using trigonometric functions. So a really useful purpose of this is we can actually get lengths. We can get side lengths or lengths of triangles. So why is that important? Because this actually is extremely applicable to real life. It's a very, very basic idea that can be used in a bunch of different situations. All right, you can find triangles in so many parts of the world and life. Architecture is huge with triangles. Triangles like considered the strongest, I guess, base. So you find triangles all over the place in architecture. You guys can just go to like a museum. You'll see triangles everywhere. All right, just kind of an aesthetic, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure there's more to it. I don't know all the research on it, but triangles are prevalent. And if there's triangles all over the place, then we can use trigonometry all over the place. So this idea of finding missing side lengths is super important. And all we need to find a missing side length of a right triangle is we need an angle, and we need one side length, just one. As long as we have an angle and one side length, that's all we need, and we can solve something. All right, so let's look at number 2. Example 3 on page 792. Example 3. Let me flip my page over. All right, so I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to have you guys practice with the guided practice. So I think you're on my screen. Yeah, all right. So it says use trigonometric function to find the value of x. Round to the nearest tenth if possible. So this is the triangle that we're given. They give you the triangle. We want to solve for this x down here. What's really important to note, guys, is that we have an angle and we have a side length. That side length is the hypotenuse. We have an angle and we have a hypotenuse. All right, so we need to figure out which trig function deals with the hypotenuse and this side length. What do we call that? So I'm just letting you think for a second. This is the hypotenuse. This is what we call adjacent. This is the adjacent side. We have the hypotenuse and we're looking for the adjacent. We don't care about the opposite. Opposite of 30 means nothing to us. So that means we need to pick a trig function that deals with adjacent and hypotenuse. So you look at your 3 trig functions. SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite hypotenuse. So no, not sine. Cosine is adjacent hypotenuse. Yes, that's what we need. We're looking for the adjacent and we have the hypotenuse. So that's why they picked cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. That's why they chose cosine function. Because we're looking for one of those, the adjacent side, and we're given the other. Okay, their second step is they replace what we know. We actually know the angle length. So before I was asking you guys to actually solve the angle length. So you said like cosine of theta equaled 7 over 2. Whatever. Right? That was before. Now I'm saying we know the angle measurement. We need to find a side length. So here we know what one of the angles is 30. It tells us it's 30. So we replace theta with 30 degrees. Our adjacent length is what we're looking for. It's x. We're trying to find it. And our hypotenuse is given to us. It's 8. So diagonal from the right angle, that little pink square, diagonal from that, that's our hypotenuse. So it's 8. This step, all they did was they plugged it into their calculator. So they plugged in cosine of 30 degrees in their calculator. You guys can put it in Desmos, I think. I always forget that you guys don't have graphing calculators. So let me just double check here real quick. Square root of 3 over 2. Let me double check these are in degrees. So like I said, a lot of times you guys will get used to this, use radians. Okay, so right now it's in radians. So let me see. Huh. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat, on your calculators that you have, is there a degrees button or anything like that? Or is there like, can you type cosine of something? And if so, what do you get? Just give me a little bit of information. Mine does not. Okay. Does it have sine, cosine, and tangent? Nope. Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you, Damon. All right, so if you go to, I'm assuming, what, calculator on your MacBook? I feel like I should know how to do this. I never used the calculator on the MacBook. Oh, here we go. If we go here, Sarah, you said mine does. Okay. That's not going to work. Damon said Mac allows you to put a degree via shortcuts. I don't even know what that is. Well, your option, though, also is to just do this. Go to Google, type in cosine of 30 degrees, and see what you get. So 0.866, was that what square root of 3 over 2 is? Yes, okay, all right. So there you go, guys. There's another option you have. Just go to Google and use this calculator here. So you'll see that this says this is where you go. So if you go to calculator on Google, you can choose between degree, that's what DEG stands for, degree, or radians, rad, R-A-D. So we want to be in degrees. So then when you're in degrees, all you have to do is put in whatever function you want, in this case cosine of 30, and that automatically make that 30 degrees. Hold up. See, now I'm getting a different answer. I don't know what's going on. All right, let's try this. Cosine. There we go. Sorry, they're in radians. I apologize. We're changing from degrees to radians. So in this case, if we're cosine of 30 degrees, we're changing that into a radian measurement. So you would want to be in RAD. Okay, so after they do that, the rest of it was just algebra. So once they changed cosine of 30 degrees, they got rid of the trig by actually finding what this is, and it's the square root of 3 over 2, equal to x over 8, multiplied by 8, and then that was their final answer. 8 times the square root of 3 divided by 2. All right, so I'm going to go over 3A, and then I'll let you guys do 3B on the guided practice. So we're given a triangle that looks something like this. Let me go to my camera here. And then we're looking, okay, so then this is our angle measurement. We get 60 degrees. All right, so this is what you guys got here. And the question is just to solve for x. So we want to solve for x. Okay, so step one is which trig function should I use? So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, type in. Which trig function should I use? And why? So that's the picture I'm given. I need to find x. So I need to pick which trig function would be best to use. Cosine of adjacent over hypotenuse. All right. Jaden, what about you? What do you think? I agree. Okay, good. You guys are correct. That is exactly what we would be doing. All right. So we do have adjacent, we have hypotenuse. So we want to find the cosine of 60 degrees is going to be equal to adjacent, which is x, divided by 14. So our hypotenuse. Multiply by 14 to both sides, so I get 14 times cosine of 60 degrees is equal to x. Going to my calculator. However you guys figure out how to do this, it sounds like Sarah, you might have gotten it to work. Jaden, maybe just go to Google. And we're going to type in cosine of 60. That's going to give us 1/2. So I have 14 times 1/2 equals x. So again, make sure I'm in radians. I want to change from degrees to radians. That'll allow me to actually solve it. Okay, and then I go back to my paper. I replace cosine of 60 degrees with 14 times 1/2 equals x. So 7 equals x. Any questions on that one, guys? And if there's no questions, go ahead and get started on 3B. Nope. All right, cool. So do gotta practice 3B and type your answer in chat. Digidio got 14. Was she correct? That's the question. You wait for Jaden and potentially Damon's answers. And we'll decide. Jaden got 10. A little bit of a discrepancy here, people. Let's see. Give it a minute. I don't know if Damon came back or not. $14 and 10. All right, let's dive in. So, I have my angle. I have one of the side lengths, and that side length is opposite my angle. So I have opposite. I do not have the hypotenuse because it's diagonal from this right angle. So I'm looking for opposite hypotenuse. So I go through SOHCAHTOA. So opposite sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So yeah, that works. Opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm looking for sine of 45 is equal to opposite 10 over hypotenuse, x. That's the most important step. So make sure you got that step down. Now we're going to multiply by x to get rid of that fraction to both sides. So I'm going to have x times sine of 45 is equal to 10. And then I'm going to divide by sine of 45 to get x by itself. Now remember guys, you don't have to, you could have replaced sine of 45 up earlier, but the reason why I'm saving it until the end is because I want this fraction to be an exact answer and as exact as possible. If I would have rounded sine of 45 into like a decimal earlier, my answer wouldn't have been as accurate. So I'm going to keep it as sine of 45. Now I'm just going to go to my calculator. And I'm going to type in 10 divided by sine of 45 and press equals. And I get, like Digidio said, if you rounded it, it would have been about 14. I'm going to round it to about 14.1. So what I'm guessing Digidio did, you probably rounded, or you probably found what sine of 45 was earlier, and then rounded, so that's why you got 14. So your answer was off by about 0.1. Not a huge deal, though. So just my recommendation, try to keep it as simple. Don't simplify until the very end. All right, so your final answer is 14.1. Jaden, what was your error? Where did you mess up? I did cosine, not sine. Okay, there you go. That'll do it. Yeah, this triangle is a little tricky. You got to make sure you find that pink square. That tells you where the right angle is. Sometimes it can be really tricky if you don't, because they always switch the orientation of the triangle up on you. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, I really would love to do this real world example. So let me actually go to my book. So go back to your book. You'll see on 792 there's a real world example. I'm going to read it real quick, but I'm not going to go through it just because I do want to get to one more thing before we're done. So it says to calculate the height of a building, Joel walked 200 feet from the base of the building and used an inclinometer, I think I'm saying that right, to measure the angle from his eye to the top of the building. If the eye is level at 6 feet, how tall is the building? So they create this picture for you. They do a good job. Luckily, you don't have to do it yourself. They show you this picture, and we would use the exact same principle we used in those problems we were just doing. We have an angle. We have a length. We need another side length. So we're looking for the opposite. We have the adjacent, so we would use tangent. Go through, use your calculator, actually find what D is. So that's like an example of a real-world problem, finding like the height of a building. All right, but what I really want to talk about, because this is our last stream, I just realized that. This is the last time I'll be formally teaching you new material. It's really sad. End of an era. Take this moment. But yeah, I want to talk about this before. We have about 10 minutes. So I want to make sure I address this before we're done. And what that is inverse trig ratios. So there's all this stuff. I don't need you guys copying all this key concept down. Obviously, this is the last unit. I don't even think this is going to be on any of your assignments. Next week is Zoom meeting. Oh, yeah. Okay. I forgot about that, Sarah. We'll have to figure out a day for that. Zoom section on Friday. Friday's going to be still our normal review day. But maybe early next week, just for fun, we can have a Zoom session. Okay, what I was saying, though, was trig, inverse trig. The moral of the story is this. If you guys look at your calculator, I think your calculator, I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought your calculator had these on there. You'll see like sine, cosine, and tangent. And then you'll see up above them these like sine of -1, cosine -1, tangent -1, and so on. All of these, you guys can see on my screen, these are all called inverse trig functions. And here's what an inverse trig function does. All right. Okay, yeah, so Jane, you said we have that. Okay, so here's what an inverse trig function does. Let me go back to my book. Let's say I have sine of b equals 4/7. Yeah, gotta click the second button. Exactly. Okay, so you guys are following. So let's say I have sine of b equals 4/7. Okay, but Sarah's very cool. And we found this earlier, right? Today at the beginning of class is like something we found. That's great. No, sure. How do we know what b is? How do we find that angle measurement? This is saying the sine of some angle measurement equals 4/7. Well, how the heck do we find it? That's where an inverse comes from. So in order to get b by itself, we have to somehow invert the sign. We have to get rid of sine. We can't just divide by sine. It's not a value. It's a function. So what we do is we take sine inverse of both sides. This notation is not really correct. I should give myself more space. But you get what I'm getting at here. I'm taking the inverse of sine to sine. That cancels them out. They can get completely canceled into 1. Which means I'm left with just b on the left side. On the right side, I now have this new function called an inverse trig function. Sine inverse of 1, or sine inverse of 4/7. And then you would just go to your calculator. I wonder if this one does it. You probably could mess around with this. Or you can use your Desmos. So sine inverse of 1, or you guys actually can use your calculator, right? So use your calculator, you put sine inverse of 1, and then type in the fraction 4/7, and then you get an answer. This one might not be correct, because I can't figure out how to switch the stupid Desmos. I know there's a way somewhere. I don't know what that stupid way is. Oh, maybe it's here, actually. Okay, so here you go. If you want your answer in degrees, so guys, all you have to do in Desmos is just go type it in and then go over here. Click on that like wrench, and then you can switch between radians and degrees. If you want a degree measurement, so what's the degree of your angle? This one would be 34.85. If you want that measurement in radians, it'd be 0.608. So just look at the question whenever it says. That's what you do. All right, so I just want to show you that. I don't know if you'll see it at all on your homeworks or anything. I can't remember, but yeah, I don't think you're going to see it at all. But that's okay. This is just a good thing in general. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. And real quick, I want to talk to you guys about something. So let me see. Okay, it's probably just you two still. That's okay. So, starting next week. So Friday, we're going to do what my calendar says. So Friday will just be a review. Make sure you guys try to get Alex started and Khan Academy started at least. So if you have questions, you can ask me for Friday. I'll still be on my office hour today. So stop by from 1 to 2 if you have any questions. What I want to talk about, though, is next week specifically. So I mentioned this earlier, and I got clarification last 2 days. So basically, like I said, new content's done. I'm not teaching you guys anything new from here on out. What we're doing from here on out is called remediation. So starting next week, we're going to do this remediation. Now, remediation means that I just want to help students who are not like completely failed, like not getting 0%, not doing anything. It's to help the kids who are kind of doing some stuff, not really, and their grades are extremely low, like below 20% or like right around 20%, something like that. I kind of pick and choose. I know who the students are. Sarah and Jaden, you two are not the students. So this remediation doesn't really apply to you. But what will be happening is I'm talking to Mr. Snook, and he's going to give me some concepts that are going to be really beneficial for you guys moving forward. So I can't remember, Sarah, if you signed up for CCP pre-calc or if you ended up just doing normal pre-calc. I can't remember. Jaden, I believe you were pre-calc. So Mr. Snook will be your teacher. I want to give you guys maybe some stuff you can do that'll just help you be better prepared for pre-calc. So when you start the year next year, you guys will be ahead of the game. Now, I want to make this very clear. I'm going to type this all out in Google Classroom, so this will all be written there. So for people who don't go to my streams can still look at it and see the update. But for you guys, sometimes it's better in person to hear it. This is all optional. Everything I'll give you from here on out, every assignment I give you, I guess I just show my face. Every assignment I give you from here on out is all going to be optional. So it's just, I'm just doing it just to help you guys, like give you these resources to say, hey, if you want to put yourself ahead for next year, ahead of everyone else, and be extra prepared, go ahead and do this. It's not going to involve, it might not. I might like film a lesson. I don't know. We'll see. Most of it's probably going to involve maybe watching videos online from like Khan Academy or YouTube or some other source. Watching a video and then maybe do an assignment. I might give you maybe whether it's Alex or Khan Academy or I don't know any other insert thing here, worksheet. I don't know. But it's all, the point of the matter is I'm not grading it. I'm not gonna look at it. If you have questions, I'll obviously help you with it. I'll answer any questions you have, but I'm not going to put it in the grade book for anything. All right. So I just want to make that clear from starting Monday. Well, I guess we're off Monday, but starting next week until the end of the year. So I think it's about 2 weeks, maybe 3. You guys will not be required to show up for a stream, required to turn in any assignments. The only thing you can do if you'd like, if you missed assignments previously. So if you missed some assignments before, you guys can definitely redo those and get a grade on those. I'm going to eHopey next year, and I'm not able to take pre-calc. They don't have a regular math class. They have Algebra 2 at eHopey. I was mad about that. Oh, okay. All right, so Jaden, it'd be something if you want to do, just for your own benefit. It's up to you. Like Sarah and Damon, it'd just be a good way to further yourselves from your classmates and just like have a better foundation for next year. Completely optional, though. All right, also, I guess I can ask, because you guys, it was your idea. So this Zoom meeting, Sarah, what are you thinking? Like I'm not going to be teaching anything. So what would be fun for you? What would you guys like enjoy? So for any of you guys, Damon, Sarah, Jaden, all 3 of you, what would be something you want to see in the Zoom meeting? We probably have to do it Wednesday, I'm thinking. Hangman? Yeah, we can definitely do Hangman. We can do Hangman. What else could we do? Have general conversations. Yeah, I like that. I can talk for days. I better take some allergy medication, though, because I feel like I'm like, you guys can probably hear it in my voice. I'm all stuffed up. Alright, that sounds good to me. I gotta figure out how to do it, to be honest. Also, I don't think I have like unlimited time. I think I have like about an hour, so it'll probably just be an hour. Wednesday, we'll probably do it at 11, usual time. Keep it consistent. I'll put it on our Google Classroom, so anyone who wants to join can join. And yeah, we can kind of just hang out. Works for me. Have a discussion. 40 minutes, keep it like a class time. There you go. That's smart. It's like a day of when you guys always got me distracted during the school year, and I realized that you were distracting me, and I'd have to like focus back up. It's like that, except I'll just be distracted the entire time. See, I don't know if I can, Sarah, because I don't have like the premium version. Like I've tried with friends before, and it always cuts me off at a certain time. Maybe not though. Who cares? We'll figure it out. That's future us. So I'll put it in Google Classroom at some point, probably next week. I'll post in Google Classroom and be like, hey, completely optional. If you guys want to hang out for an hour on Zoom, stop in. I'd love to see you guys. So I think I covered everything. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Once you're in the Zoom meeting, feel okay. So I can play around with that then. If you guys have any other questions about this remediation process, what's expected of you, any of that, you guys can ask me. I'll hang out for another minute or two. And then I'm eating lunch, and I'll be back on at 1. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Can you guys believe this? Year's almost over. My first year of teaching almost under the, what's this phrase? In the bag. First year teacher, almost in the bag. What are you having for lunch? I don't know, Jin. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to investigate my refrigerator. Gotta find some condiments. I'm going to find some lunch meat. I'm going to find some cheese. I'm going to cook it. I'm going to call it a day. That's the plan. Flying by the seat of my pants here. Man. Definitely gotta take my allergy meds. I woke up fine. I was like, I don't need them. Now I need them. Yeah, Damon. Sometimes I just cook cheese. That becomes my lunch. Just take the cheese, put it in the microwave. No plate, nothing. Just slap it on the wall of the microwave. Put 30 seconds on the clock. Get it nice and melty and just eat it with a spoon. That's usually my lunch. Fantastic. Highly recommend it. Only American though. Only Kraft American cheese. It's kind of got like its own consistency. It's almost not even like cheese. I don't even know how to describe it. Kraft singles are like not cheese. Like what the substance of Kraft singles is highly questionable and it can't be good for you. I'm convinced that I'm going to have a disease because of them. But I eat so much Kraft singles that at this point, if I'm still healthy, I got to admit it's okay. Yeah, Damon, you get on that. Let me know how that goes. Sarah said no. Well, you can't knock it till you try it, Sarah. Nice bubbly cheese in the microwave. Can't think of anything better, personally. And the feeling you get when you take the cheese and you slap it and just it sticks because it's like this weird cheese consistency. It's great. Yeah, Jane. It's not real cheese at all. Me and my family always make fun of it because I'm not kidding you. I eat probably 3 Kraft singles a day. Like I eat so much Kraft singles. Like cheese, I eat a lot of cheese. Big cheese guy. So, I eat all this cheese. It's not even really cheese. I don't know what I'm eating. It could be just the worst, like, concoction of ingredients ever. But it tastes so good. And it's so versatile. You can slap it on a burger. You can slap it on a sandwich. Slap it on a chicken sandwich. You can melt it over macaroni. You can melt it over chicken. You could eat it plain, and it tastes delicious. Kraft Singles, highly recommend it. All right, I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm starving now. I'll see you guys if you want to hop back on at 1. Peace.